Hi everybody, it's Glenn here from FG Landscape. Thanks for tuning in. Today, as the title, we're going to be looking at lawn tractors versus zero turns for residential purposes, which I suppose they can also be applied commercially as well. And before we get into all that, I just want to quickly thank everybody for those of you that are new or that have subscribed. Greatly appreciate it. This is a new channel and I'm hoping to grow it over the next few weeks, months and years. So every support that you offer is greatly appreciated. So back to the video. So lawn tractors, we have one up here. We're going to chat about what's good and what's bad about them. I suppose the advantages of a lawn tractor is their, price wise, they do tend to be cheaper than their zero turn equivalent. They tend to be a bit easier to repair as well, and then of course familiarity with the controls, as in they have a steering wheel. This is a big thing for a lot of people. They also can be used for pulling other small attachments like sprayers and even small little trailers. So there's a lot of functionality for what you can do with them, and again, a few little things up here on the screen on some of the advantages on a lawn tractor. So some cons of lawn tractors would be turning radius. So again, if you have a garden with lots of flower beds with lots of trees, rocks and all different sort of landscaping, they may not be the best choice. It could be a bit difficult reversing and maneuvering around those areas. It does take on average a bit longer to cut your garden on a lawn tractor. Unfortunately, they do tend to be a little bit slower than their zero turn equivalent. They can also, when you're cutting them, they can also leave patches of grass that are not cut because of the turning radius, and that is one thing just to remember. But overall, they are more common, they are more popular, and of course another point to highlight is lawn tractors do collect grass, so they do have the bagger at the back, and when the clippings are cut, they're pushed into the bag at the back of the machine. A lot of machines you can also put a mulch plug in, so I suppose you can do 2-in-1 with a lawn tractor. That would be one of the pros and cons of a lawn tractor. So let's look at a zero turn. We personally use a lot of zero turn machines in our business, FG Landscaping. We are based in Ireland, and we use a lot of these machines. We do find them pretty good. So some of the advantages of a zero turn machine are precision. They are quite amazing in terms of their maneuverability, going around trees and obstacles. They're really unmatched. They are pretty good in that sense. Speed, another thing. Some zero turns, particularly on the commercial end of it, can reach 12 miles per hour, 18-19 kilometers per hour top speed. Now you may not necessarily be mowing at that speed, but they are very quick, and you could cut an acre of grass in a very short while. That is one thing. They are great for gardens with trees, obstacles. Big due to simply the maneuverability, they are quite amazing. So that is one of the big things. Reverse wise, again, just because of how they're built, reversing them around the gardens, and they are so unique and so effective. As I said, it just really comes down to their maneuverability. They are pretty amazing. They can turn on the spot without moving due to the transmissions and how they move. Don't forget, zero turns do not have a steering wheel. They don't have front wheels that actually steer them, or they move simply by the actual driving wheels on the back. Each has a transaxle motor, so you turn different directions from moving one wheel back and one wheel forward, and that way you can literally spin the machine or turning the machine without actually going forward. It's quite amazing when you see them. And the only thing, as I said though, compared to lawn tractors. Lawn tractors are cheaper. The problems with zero turns are they tend to be more expensive, and they can be quite expensive. So that is one thing to note. That was one of the biggest cons, I suppose, is the cost of zero turns. Also, they can be quite large. You know, a lot of people have them with bigger decks, and that may cause inconvenience for trying to cut gardens, especially if the access way through is small. So that's another thing to think about. Getting used to, I suppose, is another thing. Because you do not have a steering wheel, they have bars, and you steer and operate the machine using these bars. These sort of handle levers, which, you know, when you're sitting in the seat, there's ones at either side, and that's sort of the way you're moving the machine. That can take some time to get used to, particularly to get really comfortable in tighter areas, so you're not jumping forward or jumping back. That can take a little bit of time to try and get used to. But overall, they are great. Another thing just to highlight is zero turns do not collect grass, so they do just mulch. So just depending on where in the world you're based, that could be a major deciding factor. You can buy attachments, bag collectors for them, but they can be very expensive, and sometimes they can be clogged. They can get clogged quite easily, and they tend to work on an assisted fan. And sometimes if the grass is a little bit wet, they can get clogged quite easily. So that's another thing to bear in mind. So yeah, I'll put up here on the screen again just some pros of the zero turn and just some cons. I'll also do the same for the lawn tractor. Quick summary of really, you know, the zero turn and lawn tractor comparison is zero turn price wise. Zero turns cost more, lawn tractors are cheaper. Yard size, if you have a much bigger yard, you know, then it may be best to go with a zero turn with a bigger deck compared to a lawn tractor. So that is one thing to you know, bear in mind. And again, if storage is an issue, you may be better off with a lawn tractor as well, because as I said, a lot of them do come with bigger decks, and if storage space is an issue, then you may be best off with a lawn tractor. But overall, it really depends on the user and what their needs are. Each have their, you know, the pros and cons as I highlight in this video, but you know, it ultimately comes down to the end user. So thanks everybody for watching this video, and again, do like and do subscribe please, and do comment, and do let me know what you want to see in these videos, because as I said to you, I can chat about many things. I can discuss about the business, about what we do, how we do it, and please let me know what you want to see, and that way I'll know if I'm on the right track. So again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.